my group mate texted me that he was doing a SWOT analysis, so I had to tell him to,
What does SWOT stand for again?
Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Got to take more business classes.
Okay. See, the only acronym I remember that they keep talking about is SMART.
Smart goals.
Setting the SMART goals.
Smart goals happen.
Smart goal.
Yep.
Smart goals and I do not have a good relationship. I can tell you that. I'm not a fan of smart goals.
Yeah, I think you're just tricking yourself into thinking you're actually going to commit to something this time, and you don't.
Yeah.
When you give something up for Lent.
Yeah, exactly.
So my thing is, I think the whole concept behind the SMART goal is flawed because it's not hitting at the core of the issue here. The problem is not the goal setting system. The problem is the goal setter.
That's so facts. Like
The person themselves.
Philosopher.
Yes. These are deep thoughts here. Good evening, everybody. It is 6:38 p.m. on Monday, February 20th. It's 35 degrees outside. We are back in the confines of the R162 classroom here in the Rex for another episode of the WLC Sports Podcast presented by The Sword. I'm Jack Stern. John Cannonberg is sitting directly across from me. Maybe I'll cut the camera so that you can see him like nodding or something. No.
Don't show me at all. Just
no, I'm definitely going to do it.
Is.
Our guest tonight is Sam Leisemann from women's basketball. How's it going?
Oh, doing pretty well tonight.
Glad to hear it.
That was a really good answer.
Yeah, we love to hear it. I guess do we want to get straight into the
We can jump right in, my guy.
All right, sweet. All right, so obviously we're going to start by talking about women's basketball. So the regular season for you guys just ended up very recently, and you were able to take second place in the NACC, and therefore obviously have the second seed in the NACC tournament coming up, which means that you'll have a first round bye week. So if you'll notice that this episode is going up at a different time than usual, we're putting it up to align with the first game that the women play at home tonight. So if you're watching this at 7 p.m., right?
Yep, 7.
Yeah, if you're watching this at 7 p.m. tonight, stop watching this and get over to the Time of Grace Center and cheer on the women. But so I guess the first thing that I really wanted to ask you is, this is the first time we've ever had an athlete on like after the season is over. So what did you kind of learn about your team this season, and what are you going to take with you as you go into the playoffs?
Well, I guess you could say that we had like a lot of injuries. Like there was like new injuries every week. It was crazy. We couldn't stay healthy. So just we all figured out that everyone needs to be ready to play. Like we had one of our reserve girls like who played really well in the reserve game, and then we had Caitlin Shesky got hurt, so now she starts for us. So like it's just like knowing that your time can come whenever, and you have to be ready to get out on the floor.
Gotcha. Yeah. And like the adaptation of getting used to new teammates and everything.
Yep.
Gotcha. I also wanted to ask, after shamelessly plugging like that people should be at your games, like how important is it to you that fans are there, loud, cheering you on? Like what does that mean to you and the team?
It means so much to us. So like last year when we played Norbs in the final, we had just a packed gym and the energy was crazy. We have so many great fans, and we even gave like a huge thank you to them at the Night of the Victors, and even after the game. Like we really just appreciate everyone coming out, cheering us on. It means the world to us, and like we always try to go as a team collectively. We try to make it to like a lot of the different sports around here. So just Warriors support Warriors, you know, so you got to come out and support.
She said it. She said the thing.
She did. She said that's like our tagline that we always say. So you just nailed it. We didn't tell her to say that.
No. I was surprised to hear that. At first I was like, did someone talk to her before she came on here? But no.
That was organic. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. I like that. No, I think I remember being at that game last year and going crazy, and it was super fun. But yeah, I mean, you heard her. Like I said, come on out and support tonight, and then hopefully, assuming that you guys will be able to take the win tonight, looking ahead towards the championship. And I know you talked about last year you guys played Norbs. I like that name for Norbs. Yeah, I like Norbs. And they were really the team that you guys had a little bit of trouble with this year. on senior night, I remember hearing that you guys took like a really, really close game that ended basically on a buzzer beater, right?
Yep.
So I wanted to ask, like, if you are able to get into the situation where you would play them again, what might you do differently? How might you adapt to that to try and take the win?
I would definitely say, so again, we take it like games one at a time. So I don't know exactly at this time who we're playing,
right.
but we definitely we are very a defense oriented team. So we are taking these, we got to guard our own player, help defense. We're really stressing about that. But defense first, like always. And then when you play really good defense, it carries over to your offense, and that's how you're going to make those shots.
Gotcha. Yeah. So like you said, we at this time actually don't know who the women are going to be playing tonight, and then if they win, who they will be playing in the championship. But obviously, when you're watching this, you'll have a knowledge of that from the first round being played. But I guess anything else, like any funny stories that you were able to come up with? I know you were texting your group chat beforehand.
Oh yeah, I texted my group chat and saying like, please tell me some funny stories. I'm just totally blanking. I don't know how I can forget. So we actually started a TikTok page. We wanted to be really cool, but season got started and we were things were happening, so it kind of just dwindled a little bit. But just our TikToks in general, Haley Ott and I were kind of like in charge of the team TikTok, so we were just like directors, like screaming and yelling, and it was just terrible because I'm sure my teammates just hated us at the end.
You guys are social media managers.
Oh,
that's the official. That's the more professional term.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
It. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. So yeah, we were screaming and yelling, and then it was really cool. We did this team to bonding day, and we did like a TOSA wide scavenger hunt. Our captain Simeon set it up for us, and it was so much fun. We made like TikToks, different videos, and our team, if you don't know us, I feel like we're definitely a very rambunctious, fun group. You'll always hear us yelling down the hallways and stuff, just screaming, singing. It's crazy. So you can just imagine like what these TikToks and these videos are. Yeah. So it was, I guess I have to mention this because this was told I had it to be mentioned.
Is there any specific TikTok you guys made that was your favorite?
The favorite one was definitely, so actually it wasn't aired. We didn't put it on the TikTok because it was my fault. I messed it up. I made the TikTok on my account instead of the team TikTok.
I see. Okay.
So we did like a introduction of our team through like the Full House sound, and it was so much fun, and it looked so funny. But it had like my TikTok handle like moving in the video.
Yeah.
I don't need that. That's
I get that. Yeah.
We also had Mac Hoganson. She did the gritty. Is that what it's called? Yeah. She did that. Oh my goodness. I have to mention it. Just decline her. It looked like a deer. She looked like a baby deer. But shout out to her because I just thought it was hilarious.
That makes me think of on TikTok, I think it might have been the NFL that posted it. It was like they had this sound that was like, if you know somebody who's grittying that shouldn't be, please reach out to this resource and we'll like help you talk to them. It was really funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's hilarious. But that's funny because I think you're the second person actually now that we've interviewed, because Autumn said something about the TikTok too.
Yes, because the volleyball team went viral for one of the TikToks that they made.
Yes. So I think it's just funny that we've got all sorts of teams on TikTok. So go ahead and try and find the win. What's the at? What is the handle?
I think it's WLC_WBB.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe you can throw up another one of your your graphics.
I'll do some fancy editing magic there, and I'll plug the TikTok page.
Yeah, exactly. So you can go ahead and take a look. All right. Anything else for women's basketball, or should we move into men's?
I'm just going to say, before we move on, can you make one final plea to all of our viewers for why they should come out to watch you guys on Thursday?
Yep, definitely. Thursday is a huge game. Obviously, we want to get to that next game, but we're taking it one game at a time. And if you can come support us, that would be amazing. We're very appreciative of it. And I think you'll definitely, there's no way you're not going to have a good time, because honestly, cheering in general is just fun. Like, whether you're chirping or just cheering on WLC, it's just a great time. So, yeah.
All right. Now moving on to men's basketball. Men's basketball actually was able to take the conference championship for the regular season, which is really, really awesome. And so they also have a first round bye, and their first game will be tomorrow night for you guys on Friday, which, again, I mean, come out and support. We keep saying it.
Warriors supporting Warriors.
Warriors supporting Warriors, exactly.
We should put that on a sign somewhere.
We really should have it on we need like the neon sign, like the one behind you.
Yeah, well, like we'll put it on like one of those really cliche looking inspirational backgrounds. We'll put like a wood frame around it and we'll just hang it on the wall back there.
There should at least be t-shirts like passed around.
Oh, I like the
games
idea.
Or something. I think, yeah.
We got to get official podcast t-shirts. And
We should.
Then we can wear those for every episode.
We've discussed it in the past.
Did we discuss? I think we discussed a merch drop in the past. I don't think that idea got off the ground.
No,
very
it never
far,
it never went anywhere,
Yeah.
but we had mentioned it at one
We
point.
asked for funding for that.
I think so. I don't see why not.
I'm sure that our overseers would be more than happy to approve additional funds.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
pod merch.
They'd be happy to let us do that for sure.
Of course.
But no, men's basketball was able to end their season on 3-game win streak, which is awesome. And what's cool about their situation is that because they took first in the conference, everything comes through the Time of Grace Center. So any game that they have, this first game, and then if they make it to the championships, hopefully, will be here. So you have plenty of opportunities in the upcoming weekend to come out, support, lose your voice at a basketball game. Great time. And again, we don't know who they're playing yet, but excited all the same to get into that. And want to congratulate both the basketball teams on having a great season for the regular season.
Absolutely.
And best of luck in the championship or the tournaments.
Almost got it right.
Yeah, I was close.
Are you you a big basketball guy, John?
Like to go out to the basketball games?
Go play whatever.
I mean, I like to, I used to like to think that I was good, and now I've kind of like taken a step back and been like, all right, like you really can't shoot or dribble or do anything.
You
So
can't do any of the basketball things.
Yeah.
Did
So,
I ever tell you about my basketball playing days?
You mentioned briefly that there was a story there, but you never told it.
Okay,
and I'm very interested.
I think anyone who knows me knows that I'm not an athlete. Because I just lack any coordination or general athleticism whatsoever. If you talk to some of the baseball guys, they might say that I can like pitch a decent like bullpen session or something, but I don't throw hard. So that's as close as I get to being an athlete. But I did play basketball in grade school in 3rd grade. It was my lone year of
Only 3rd grade.
Yes. Well, you're about to find out why that was the only year.
All right.
So I did not get the ball very often when I played in 3rd grade. In fact, I only got the ball once all season. And
This is gonna be bad.
I'm gonna run down this series of events. I don't remember who passed the ball to me, but I got the ball. I'm looking around, and I decided to start traveling in the wrong direction.
Okay.
And it was at that moment, after the whistle blew, that I decided my basketball career was over.
Right then and there.
Right then and there.
So-
I mean, I played through the rest of the season because I'm not a quitter, but
Right.
at that point, that's when I was
you
like,
never
yeah,
got the
maybe,
ball again.
maybe this is not. Yeah, I didn't get the ball again either. So that was part of it too. Like I didn't get a chance to redeem myself. At that point, I'm like, well, maybe I should just kind of ride off into the sunset before I get a further opportunity to embarrass myself. So that was my basketball playing days.
You traveled, you like literally were like walking with the ball.
I was running with the ball, yes.
Oh.
In the wrong
So there was
direction,
that's the problem. It wasn't if it was just one of them, it would have been like, okay, like whatever. But the fact that it was the combination of doing both of those things at the same time,
Yeah.
it was
Time to hang it up.
it was time to hang it up.
You gotta know
Yeah.
that.
There's a big.
I kept playing Little League till I got to high school though. So that was
I think there's a big potential for like a 5-minute documentary on this event to happen. Where it's literally like it's set up so it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
whole thing, and then
Yeah.
it just immediately Jack gets the ball, and then it's just credits. And you're done. You just hear the whistle
It'll-
blow. We're done.
yeah, it'll be like the credits will start rolling, it'll be like the Curb Your Enthusiasm theme that's playing. Yeah, that'll be great.
Perfect.
You
Yeah.
wanna it can be like one of those ESPN documentaries.
Yeah, exactly. But it's instead
What
of
do
like,
they call like ES 30 for 30 or
yeah,
something, whatever they call
instead
it?
of 30 for 30, it's like
5 for 5.
Yeah,
I don't
5 for
know.
5 or
Yeah.
something. I don't know. I like it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, maybe before next episode comes up.
Well, we could
keep an eye on.
We can
ESPN.
we can make it like a series. We can have that one. We can have the swimming lessons one.
It's just a series of Jack's failures in different sporting events.
Yes. Yeah.
I think
if we're gonna talk about my sporting career, though, we do need to talk about the time when I was 13 years old and I pitched an immaculate inning in baseball.
Ooh, okay.
So that's 9 pitches, 3 strikeouts. You strike out everyone on 3 pitches. So that was the highlight of my athletic career.
Well, there you go. You didn't redeem yourself in basketball, but you redeemed yourself as an athlete.
I did. Yes.
So
there you go.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough talking about me because the podcast is not supposed to be about me. Let's move on to women's track.
All right. Yeah. So we'll talk about women's track, and there is so much to talk about here, really. Usually for our agendas, I only put the people who took first, second, and third for track because there's just so many people. Otherwise, we'd have to mention all of them. Mm-hmm. There are so many people who ended up taking first, second, or third in this past meet at UWM that I just had to write them all down in all of the different events. Super impressively, we had 2 athletes who actually won their events. So you had junior Janae Jensen, who won the 200-meter dash, and you had senior Brooke Glasson, who won the 800-meter. I also noted that in the 800-meter, Ashley Miller and Emily Hareed took 3rd and 4th. So 3 of the top 4 were from WLC, which is really cool. We had some high up people in the triple jump. We had Janae Jensen again, took 2nd in triple jump, and sophomore Camille Huga took 3rd. We had junior Anna Roche, took 2nd in the 400-meter. Sophomore Rachel Romans took 3rd in the long jump. So yeah, we really just had a lot of success at this particular meet, which it sounded pretty interesting from what some of my track friends were telling me about it.
That's right. You have track sources.
I do. And they were telling me all about how like it's a strange meet, how there's like UWM and them and then like some JUCOs, and it's like a very strange mashup of everybody who's there.
It's a melting pot.
Yeah, it is. But still a really cool opportunity and a great way to, it was called the Panther Tune-Up. It was kind of a great way to tune up for the NACC Indoor Championships at Ripon that are coming up this weekend. It's actually kind of interesting because we just had a tennis match at Ripon, and their indoor track is around their tennis courts, and their tennis courts are made of track material, which is not normal and weird and not super fun to play on, but I'll get more into that when we talk about tennis. But I know
that was a missed opportunity for a really good transition because now we got to talk about men's track before we go to tennis.
I was, when I wrote this agenda, planning to not mention that, and then I forgot about it until you said that we could have transitioned. So we'll just forget that I did that, and then we'll transition again later. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Men's track, I forgot to mention there were 17 PRs for the women's track team. There were also 17 PRs for the men's track. I feel like that happened last time too, where they had like exactly the same amount of PRs. They had a 4x400 team that took 2nd place in that race, and freshman Jack Staggs took 3rd in the 3,000 meter. So again, they're also looking forward to the NACC Indoor Championships at Ripon this weekend. And now we can transition into men's tennis if you'd like, unless you have anything else to say about track.
I don't have anything else to say about track, so let's hand it over to our resident men's tennis expert.
All right. So this past weekend for men's tennis, we were able to take our first 2 wins of the season. We played against Ripon and we played against Wartburg, and we won both of those matches by a score of 7-2. So as I was mentioning in the track portion, the courts at Ripon are made out of track material. And last week's, 2 weeks ago now, I guess, Adam Heinzen's episode where he was asking me about different courts and if they have different like effects on where the ball goes. Mm-hmm. Courts that are made out of track, I learned very quickly, the ball like is so slow. So it has like no pace. You have to wait on it way longer than you would on any other court. And it takes a long time, or it took us a long time to get used to. So I guess we kind of talked about in basketball, like the adapting portion of it. That's kind of the equivalent, I guess, in tennis is like adapting to a different court. But we were able to do okay. And like I said, we were able to take the first 2 wins of the season. So hopefully that'll be a trend that continues and we can continue our winning streak, which is really awesome.
Huge dub.
Yeah, exactly. Huge dub. We needed
Big
it.
dubs.
Yeah. So, for the freshmen on the team, it was like their first ever team win, which is awesome.
Yeah, good for them.
And then I also have to talk about, I've been throwing to Jack for 2 weeks now, maybe, this story that I have about this tennis match.
Yeah.
So we played Stevens Point a little while ago, and we ended up taking a really close loss. It was really, really close. So it was 4-5, but it totally could have gone the other way, and we could have won 5-4, etc. But the reason that I want to talk about this particular tennis match
This is great because I'm looking at the agenda and it just has its own bullet point here, and it just says the story.
I couldn't.
And story has a capital S.
This is like, yeah.
So
this is
it's a big deal. This is going to be some good content when an otherwise common noun is being capitalized.
I couldn't spoil the story. And my favorite thing about this is if you've never watched an episode of the pod before, if this is your first ever time watching the pod, this will literally mean nothing to you. It is.
So go back and watch every single other episode that we've produced over the last 6 months.
Immerse yourself in the lore of the podcast. No,
there's a whole podcast expanded universe here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of surprised that you haven't already guessed what this story is going to be about. Maybe you have, but basically,
I'm just content to let you take it away here. So tell me what happened.
So Stevens Point, we lost 4-5. I, however, won both of my matches there, and I wouldn't, bring that up to my own horn, except before the matches, I touched a towel on purpose.
Oh!
Yeah. So, and it was like, so I was going to the bathroom before the match, and I just see a big stack of towels, and I just go up and I was like, this is a stupid superstition. I'm getting rid of this. And I just put my hand on it and walked out there, and I was like, let's go.
But as you were walking past the towels, they were calling your name. It's like the towels are just whispering Jon.
Yeah, exactly. It was
Jon.
Tempting me.
Yeah.
Are you confused?
I'm a little confused, but I don't understand the towels.
So, I'll explain. In case you don't want to go back and watch all other 8 episodes of lore. Basically,
even though this has been brought up in literally every single
almost every episode. That's why I had to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I had this superstition, now in past tense, where anytime that I would touch a towel, during or before a tennis match, I would always play horribly. It was complete coincidence. I don't know why it happened, but it was just one of those things where anytime I would do it, I never played well. And so this year I was like, this is dumb and I want to get rid of this. So I was like, maybe I'll lose this, whatever, I'll just go for it. And then I played well. And I ended up playing what is probably the longest tennis match I will ever have to play in my collegiate career. It was 2 to 2.5 hours because it was really, really close. But
so you really just smacked that superstition away. You're just
yeah, exactly.
He literally smacked it. Yeah.
Yes, I literally walked up to this pile of towels. I had Jack's voice ringing in my head we're going to get you to win after touching a towel.
That is exactly what I said.
I know.
That's a big fear to face. So congrats.
Towels.
That's awesome.
Big deal.
Towels, huge deal.
That's going to be the next 30 for 30 based on the podcast.
Yeah, we have two
we should get can we make a testimonial commercial for you? About how you overcame.
I faced my fears.
You faced your fear of towels.
We'll do something about that.
Yeah.
But no, that was my big story, my big reveal for you, Jack, and for anybody else who's heard us talk about it in the past. But
now I feel very blessed to have heard that story, and I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Thanks for explaining that towel thing to me.
Of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, it took a lot. I don't know if you guys have any superstitions on the basketball team.
We don't have any group superstitions.
Yeah.
But I personally don't, because I used to have so many superstitions. I used to have to eat a peanut butter sandwich before every basketball game, and then I one time didn't have peanut butter and I thought my life was just over. And I'm that's just not how the world works. Okay.
How long did you hold that superstition for?
Goodness, 4 years of high school. You don't understand how much Quick Trip bread and Skippy peanut butter my mom and I went through.
Dude, when Quick Trip had the 69-cent loaves of bread,
it's 75
or
cents
is
now.
it's 75 now. Okay.
Needed a new loaf. So.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Peanut butter, towels, all of it doesn't matter. You just have to focus in and play your best. That's my advice to all athletes out there. Whatever superstitions you have, get rid of them.
Try your best.
They're dumb.
Try your best. Face your fears. Follow your dreams.
If you lose, be better.
Yeah.
No excuses.
Feel free to touch a towel if you feel like it. Doesn't change how you play. Getting back into men's tennis, I guess, because we should probably start wrapping this episode up once we get through the rest of our sports.
Yeah.
Our next match coming up is Saturday. We play at Lawrence. And then our next home match is Friday, March 3rd at 10 a.m. Versus Simpson at Pleasant Valley Tennis and Fitness Club. So if you're like Jack and you live 5 minutes away, you can always come on out. But, we always appreciate if people come on out. So just like all the other sports, gotta throw a plug in there.
I mean, the caveat that I should throw in there is it's 5 minutes away from my house, but I live on campus, so I'm not always in the area.
Yeah. Excuses.
Yeah,
I understand.
Any excuse I can find to just not care about what John's doing.
Yeah, so. Exactly. I also have to just kind of throw this out there. I didn't put it on the agenda. The women's team has 2 matches coming up as well. They're both away, so I didn't put them on here because I was like, people aren't going to be able to go. But just know that they also have some, even though their regular season was back in the fall, they still have some matches to prepare them for the tournament that comes up at the end of this semester. So just wanted to shout that out. Finally, I think we should go into men's volleyball. I saw that they beat Maranatha Baptist 3-0, which I think is a match that they've never won before. They played them both the past few years, and I have lost both times. So to win against them is really great for the program. Since then, they've gone on just a little bit of a losing skid. They took a tough loss in their game after Maranatha Baptist to Wabash. I think is how you say that.
Wabash.
Wabash. I don't know.
Wabash.
I don't know.
There's an old country song. I think, and it's called Wabash Cannonball. It's about an old train. I don't know why I'm talking about this now, just because it came up. But the way they pronounce it in the song is, I think they say Wabash.
Okay. Well,
Wabash.
I feel like Wabash is the most ridiculous way to possibly say it. Actually, I probably just offended anybody who actually if it's actually called Wabash.
I don't know if that should make the final cut.
I'm gonna look up the official pronunciation because we need answers on this. You keep talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say you look it up. I'll keep talking. So, like I said, they were on a bit of a losing skid, but now they had a little bit of a break before they go into NACC play. I keep wanting to say NACction because that's the hashtag that they always use on Twitter when they're talking about the NACC. But they start that on February 28th at Marion, and then their next home match is Benedictine at noon on March 4th. So, once again, come on out, support. I don't know how many times we can say that this episode. It's been a lot.
Should keep it count exactly.
On
the side of the screen. There's so many aspects that need to be in here.
We have one with the Sam cam. We have one with the counter of how many times.
Yeah. I found the pronunciation, so I'm gonna try to put this into the mic.
Wabash.
What was it?
Wabash.
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 Did you hear it enough times?
What was the trumpet at the beginning?
I didn't know there was a trumpet at the beginning. I could only find a YouTube video where they tell you how to pronounce it. So
to be honest, I was so distracted by the trumpet that I didn't actually listen. You didn't even say it at all.
So you got nothing out of that experience.
It was like Wabash. Wabash.
The way I said it.
Yeah.
We'll just leave it there.
Okay. Wabash.
I think it was the way I said it. Yeah.
That was. That was really shades of some of the first couple episodes we've had of the pod.
Yeah, we're bouncing around all over the place.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, do we want to wrap this episode up?
I believe so. I think we got through everything we wanted to cover and some added nonsense.
Yeah.
I was glad we got to put more nonsense in because I feel like the last pod was lacking on nonsense.
Yeah, it was high on sports knowledge.
Yeah, but who watches this sports podcast to hear exclusively about sports?
That's a great question.
You must be some kind of miserable lowlife if that's all you're expecting to get from this.
Right.
Anyway, Sam, thank you so much for joining us. You were a fantastic guest.
Yes, definitely.
We enjoyed having you. Good luck this week.
Seriously.
I'm saying this now because there's a few days to go, so I'm kind of looking ahead. But again, when you were watching this, it's going to be the day of when they're going to be taking the court. So again, come on out, support. Warriors supporting Warriors.
Warriors supporting Warriors. The counter just went up in the corner again. So
that's another thing. We'll put the counter in there. So
yeah, exactly.
We got all kinds of features that we can incorporate in future pods. Future pod, I don't even know when the next one's going to be out. I'm not going to give you a projected date because John's just going to screw it up again.
Yeah, I did it wrong the last time, so we're not going to do that again. But you'll know. You'll
know. We'll have announcements all over the socials. Until then, thank you all for tuning in.
All right, so before we even get into this, I have to talk about this jersey because it was such a hassle to put this on for tonight. I was like, all right, it's a basketball episode. We have to like dress for the occasion, right? So I've worn this before on the pod in the Christmas edition, and I talked about how I bought it at that like $5 everything sale that they did around Christmas time. And when I got there, all they had left was extra larges or like extra larges or something. Ooh. But I bought it anyway, and I was like, you know what, whatever.
You are decidedly not an extra large.
Exactly. So I go to put it on today, and it is like literally like a dress, basically. It's like down to my knees. And I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. So I was like trying to like tuck it in or something to make it look presentable. Not gonna happen. And so then I was like, all right, I'll take scissors and I'll cut off the bottom and try to make it look better that way.
It sounds like a really poorly contrived art project.
It was bad. It was not good. I mean, and I did it, and it doesn't look terrible. It looks fine. But it was still like way too big. So then I had to take like a rubber band and basically like ponytail back here and try and make it fit. And so, you know, I don't know that all that was worth it, but
it wasn't.
The tie in the back was definitely a trend back in like early 2000s, so bring it back.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking of.
There you go.
Bring it back. All for the culture.